So it has a brew. I also have some home time broken biscuit because they were $2.95 in farm food. So I'm gonna have one of these. The broken biscuits are the shit. So someone who pointed out to me on Twitter, I can't remember his name now. I can't even. He's from like the way. Somebody pointed out that it's actually my 100th video. Now, I was thinking, well, what? And he said, oh, you should do something special. And I was like, well, what could I do? I thought, well, you could have like a day in the life of, so you could see me getting out of the shower, or you could see me wandering around Plymouth, or something like that. And I actually did even think about doing this outside because I was like, well, it's good weather outside. I'm even wearing shorts. And I thought, well, I could do this outside, but I can't really get away with doing it outside because I'm not YouTube famous enough. Because if I was YouTube famous enough, I'd be able to go outside and people could like look at me and I could go, fuck you guys, because I've got like 1 million subscribers and it doesn't matter. But because I don't, I'm not going to do that. I'm also not going to wander about town videoing myself talking because I would just get so self-conscious. I don't care what anybody else thinks, but like I would just feel nervous and it just wouldn't work. So what I thought I'd do is like a versus or like an or. So I did think about like doing this on Twitter first and getting people to ask me questions like, I don't know, whatever, blue or red sort of thing. But I'm going to do my own. So I've sort of asked the questions because I've not really actually done a who I am really. I've not actually done my experiences within IT. I've not done any of that stuff. So I thought, well, I might do that. And then if you've got any questions for me, you can either put them in the comments or just, send them to me and I'll maybe create another video. But because only 50 people will watch this, it doesn't really matter too much. But anyway, 100th video, question/answer time. Tea or coffee? Well, tea, obviously, because I'm drinking tea right now. I do actually drink coffee once in a blue moon. Believe it or not, I do drink coffee. I don't generally drink coffee though because it's just, I don't know, I just don't generally find it. Well, I only drink it if I'm ridiculously tired, or if I like go out. That's kind of the only thing I drink if I go out. Like if I go to Starbucks or something like that, I'll drink coffee. I won't drink hot chocolate or anything else. PC all the way. Mac. Would I get a Mac? Yes, of course I would. Why would I get a Mac? Well, because I kind of want to learn it. But no, definitely PC because of what I do in terms of gaming and everything else. So kind of yeah. Microsoft. A lot of people will say, well, why is that? Because Apple are a horrible, nasty, mean company who pretend they invent things. They've not actually invented many things. In actual fact, if you actually look what they've actually invented, they don't invent things. They compile things. They're kind of like a recipe book, really, of stuff. They just kind of combine things that they pretend they've invented, and then claim they've invented this magical thing, and it doesn't. Yeah, that's not really the case. Now that is a very good question. Linux. Yes, I've put Linux on its own because it's not kind of part of anything else. I suppose I could have put like Windows, Mac, Linux. Linux is kind of on its own. I do use Linux. I use it as on servers. I use it as on routers and things like that. I don't use it as my desktop OS because for me, I want to be able to use things like Word, Adobe Premiere Pro, Photoshop, that sort of stuff. I can't necessarily do that with Linux. Obviously, I can use Wine before you start going about, things like that. I could use Wine, but for me, it's just a pain in the ass. I've got the driver support with Windows there. Windows is easy to use. I don't have to dick around with stuff. Whereas if I'm in Linux, some of the stuff I want to be able to do, I have to do through a CLI, and I can't be fucked with the CLI. Yes, I do know command line stuff, but I just don't want to bother with it. Dominos, sometimes. If I don't know. I mean, that's a bit of a difficult one. Generally, I go with Domino's, but it depends on what offers are on. If Pizza Hut's cheap, I will go with pizza. If Domino's is cheap, I'll probably go with Domino's. Domino's pizza is definitely better. That's hands down. That's the dough's better, the sauce is better, the meat is better, and it doesn't give me the runs afterwards either. So yeah, that's that. Beer or cider is another one, which is weird. I prefer cider of a summer's day like this, but I prefer beer if I'm going out with friends or if I'm just chilling around the house and it's pissing down with rain or something like that outside. I prefer beer, but when I'm talking about beer, I mean proper beer, not this pathetic European flavoured coloured fizzy crap that everybody insists on calling beer, like Stella Artois or Foster's or any other fake beer like that. Proper beer, proper man's beer. Things like Spitfire, which I know is a very generic ale, quote unquote. It's kind of like a bit of a, it's like a, yeah, Spitfire's good. It's quite easy to drink, and it's quite a nice thing. If you don't really like ales, it's quite a light thing to drink. A lot of like Skinner's Brewery stuff. Skinner's Brewery is an amazing brewery down here in Cornwall. Well, not down here because I'm in Devon, only just. It's an amazing brewery in Cornwall, and they produce things like Base Dogs, Helligan Honey. Oh my god, that's effing amazing. Like, that's the best thing ever. Helligan Honey, if you can get a hold of it, get some of that stuff because it's so good. Cornish Knocker, things like that. It's really, really good stuff. And then there's obviously things like St Austell breweries we've got down here as well. Things like Tribute, and then we've also got things like I think it's Rock breweries. I'm just trying to think who it is now. But they make things like Doom Bar and things like that. And then we've also got Dartmoor Brewery, which makes things like JLL, which is another favourite of mine. So there's loads of like ales around and about, but basically, yeah, ale is my kind of forte, really. Android or iOS? Well, I have an Android phone, and I also have an iPad, which is iOS. But I do go generally Android, mainly because I can customise it to shit, and that's kind of that, really. Windows Phone, another one, is on its own because it doesn't, not necessarily relevant. I suppose it kind of is, but not really. Windows Phone, I'm going to say this, and I'll probably get a lot of hate for it, but don't give a flying crap, really. Windows Phone is probably the best operating system, mobile operating system, on the market, because it's easy to use and it's stable as fuck and it just works. But the thing that lets it down is the fact there's no apps, and the reason there's no apps is because nobody uses it. And why does nobody use it? Because there's no apps. So it's kind of like one of those things that you can't really get any better because no one uses it, there's no apps, and because there are no apps, no one uses it. So it's kind of like a bit of a one of those things you can't really get around, really. But no, Windows Phone is so good. If you've actually used it, it's just it's solid, it works, it's really good. Like, hats off to Microsoft, one of the few things they've actually created that actually works really well. So yeah. PS or Xbox? Neither. PC all the way. Everybody asks me on this on Twitter, like, they'll say, oh, anybody up for like a game of Battlefield 3 or anybody up for a game of COD or something. Well, COD's a bad example because I rarely play that. But someone will say, oh, PS3 or Xbox? I'm like, PC, GTFO. PC is the master race. Yes, it costs a lot of money, and yes, you have to be a bit of a geek, and yes, there's a slightly less market for it, but I don't give a crap because I get better graphics, get better frame rates, and I can customize it to shit. So I do own an Xbox. I'm not just like one of these PC elitists. I do own an Xbox, but I rarely play it because I just don't. I mean, I used to play it because there's a few people on Twitter that used to play Xbox, but I don't. It's just sort of sitting there gathering dust, really. I still pay for Xbox Live. I don't really know why, but yeah, that's that. COD or Battlefield 3? Well, it's gonna have to be Battlefield 3, really. Call of Duty is a piece of shit. It's probably like the best COD I'd ever was COD 4, and then it just went down here from there. I think the last COD that I played that was any good was Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 3 was shit. Black Ops and Black Ops 2 was shit. World at War was good as well, I'll give you that. But COD 4 was hands down the best COD ever. I have played COD 2, so I'm not actually just being completely... Because COD 4 was when it actually took off and people knew about it. I actually might replay the COD 4 single player because it's fucking amazing. Forza or Gran Turismo? Now this is quite interesting. I've never played Gran Turismo because I don't own a PlayStation. So I'm going to have to go with Forza. I've played Forza. Forza's insanely good. The graphics are amazing to the extent that they just look so good. I mean, I know the Gran Turismo ones do look good as well, but Forza looks good. Considering it's on an Xbox, which is kind of like lower hardware, although to be fair, the new Xbox 360 is pretty much the same as the PS3 in terms of specs, from what I gather. Don't quote me on that though. But yeah, Forza I think is probably better. Intel or AMD, which is very interesting. Never settle is my thing. I know that's a very cliche thing to say, and I think that's even AMD's motto. Never settle for anything. I buy Intel. I buy AMD. I currently have an AMD system. I'll probably go to Intel in the near future because at the moment Intel make better chips. IMO, that's just that. Later on, I might go back to AMD again. It depends, but never settle. Never settle for any technology. It's stupid. It just is. I know I'm doing this comparison now, but this is for me at the moment. But never settle for any technology because it's just stupid. Because you'll miss out. You miss out so much. It's like if you just go with iOS, you miss out on the Android market. And yes, you could hate Android to the whatever, but you're missing out on so many really cool devices because you're being very elitist in your approach. And then obviously ATI or Nvidia. At the moment ATI, but Nvidia I probably would go with eventually if I go to an Intel system. Nvidia do some really, really cool stuff, but at the moment I think ATI have probably got the best graphics card on the market. At the moment they've just released I don't know what it is, some random card, which I'll find out and put up there. They've released it's actually better than the Titan. Nike or Adidas? I'm going to have to go with Adidas on this one. I do own both stuff. And yes, generally there's like people that go like Team Adidas and Team Nike. I'm a bit of both, but generally work towards like Team Adidas or stuff. Or Adidas. That sounds so gay and dickheadish and like I don't know, like teenagery and stuff. But that's just it. Shorts, especially in this weather because it's glorious weather outside. I suppose I kind of wear a bit both, but generally if it's sunny I can get away with it. Or I can man up, I'll wear shorts because they're just easier and better and you can like move around and shit. Chinos all the way. I don't generally wear jeans unless it's for something like really shitty where I need like something a bit stronger. Chinos go with absolutely anything. They can be any colour, they can be like, it doesn't really matter. So like it doesn't matter what shoes you wear, it doesn't matter what t-shirt you wear. So yeah, I pretty much go with chinos all the time really. T-shirts mainly because that's what I wear all the time. Obviously I've got my the one everybody likes, my 50 odd people that will watch this, like, shirts are good, like, for some things. I like looking fresh sometimes if I'm, like, doing something. If I go out, for instance, I'll wear a shirt, or if I need to wear a shirt for work or something, but, t-shirts generally most of the time. Dell for desktops, HP for servers. So, someone treating the outside as a raceway there. Hey, I haven't played with servers for proper servers for about a year, so I might be slightly out of the game really. But HP servers are the shit. Dell servers are a piece of crap, they're just not even worth touching. But Dell machines, like custom machines, business machines, are pretty much like the best of the best, including like their professional monitors are the shit. Like their warranty is amazing, their customer support is amazing. For business stuff, is out this world amazing. Consumer stuff, both of them are a bit shit, really. As with everything consumer, it's just a bit meh. But yeah, definitely Dell machines for desktops, for laptops, stuff like that. And then HP servers, because HP servers are pretty much the best of the best. I'm gonna have to go with HTC for this. I've had HTC since I had my first smartphone, which was 2009 when I started uni. And I've now gone to the Samsung Galaxy S3, and it's a piece of shit, and I kind of wish I didn't. So, because I really wish I had a Samsung and HTC One now, because HTC Ones are amazingly good. So, I kind of wish I'd gone with a HTC One. So, HTC really for that one. Canon and Nikon is one of those things that's very divisive. I'm going to say Canon, mainly for the fact that I have a Canon 600D and I have a Canon IXIS 220HS. I've never actually played with a Nikon. So I haven't really got anything to compare it to, really. Nikons are very good. As much as I know, pretty much they're much of a muchness. I don't really. There's a bit of a war going on, like with everything geeky. There's console wars, there's AMD wars, there's CPU wars, GPU wars, and then again camera wars. I'm going to say Canon though, mainly for the fact that I've got Canons and I want a Canon 7D because. Why not? Because Canon 7D is the shit, basically. I don't know what the Nikon equivalent is. I assume that's probably the shit as well, but I don't know. I suppose I'm personally Canon for me because that's all I've ever used. That doesn't mean to say that I won't use a Nikon in the future or whatever, but for the minute, Canon. I'm going to have to say Rugby for this one, for the simple fact that, I don't do sport. I fucking hate sport. It's just a pointless waste of time, IMO, but Rugby is a thug's game played by gentlemen, and football is a gentleman's game played by thugs. So therefore, I'm going to say Rugby because football is basically a bunch of overpaid Ponces running around the field worrying about their hair and throwing themselves on the floor for no real reason and actually taking what the referee says on board as opposed to just shouting and effing and blinding. So I'm going to have to say rugby, because rugby, it's a man's game as well. There's no poncing and fannying about and any of this stuff either. So yeah, rugby all the way. This doesn't even need to be a question. Why is it a question? Twitter out just all the time, because Facebook's full of idiots you know in real life you wish you didn't, and Twitter's full of people you wish you knew in real life but you actually don't. There's some amazing people around the world that I follow and I interact with in America and even in this country up the line, Birmingham, Manchester, Coventry sort of way. Nobody down here though. I don't know why. There's nobody down here that I want to actually meet from Twitter, because all the people I know in real life I have on Twitter, so I don't have anybody close to me that I don't know in real life, which is annoying. But yeah, so, and there's like some people in the Middle East, in the UAE, and in America, Germany, on the continent, in all sorts of weird, wonderful places. And there's some amazing people on Twitter, which is why I really, really love it. Instagram or Flickr? Well, I'm going to say both, because they both have the merits. Instagram is good for instant sharing and for a greater market of people, because Instagram, you share something, people can like it, and more people use it, and you can follow people, you can hashtag things, and it's more searchable, and it's kind of, it's more interactive and this, that, and the other. Flickr not so much. Flickr's very niche-ish, and I know they've just changed slightly and they've just like upgraded themselves, but Flickr's really cool for stuff like DSLR shots, because you can have a full photo without any compression, and also things like EXIF data for real geeky people, and for proper photographers. I'm not a proper photographer. I dick around with shutter speeds and stuff, and I play around with photography, but I'm not a photographer. I wouldn't want to do it professionally because I don't know anything. I don't know enough about ISO, shutter speed, aperture, and all that other stuff. I know about it, but not enough to sort of do it professionally. Most of the time I cheat and go into auto mode because I can't be bothered to go through all the settings if I just want to grab a quick shot. So most of the stuff I take is through auto, which I know is not, like, proper photographers hate that, but for me I don't give a shit, because I'm not that into it that much. But no, Flickr's really good for like proper photography stuff and for getting like the raw data without having to without the square thing. But Instagram's really good for sharing and stuff, so I'm going to say both on that one, because just because. And then the last one, Sony Vegas or Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm going to have to say Sony Vegas, for the simple fact that it's easier to use than Adobe Premiere Pro. With Adobe Premiere Pro, you kind of have to use the suite of apps to actually get it to be used properly, because I find that with Sony Vegas I can import external audio really easily without having to dick around too much. Whereas Adobe Premiere Pro it doesn't work so well, unless I'm being a complete utter noob. But I think you just have to basically use a workflow system and basically kind of like do some weird and wonderful things, and it's just a pain in the ass, and I don't know. So that's pretty much it. Hit me up on Twitter at AzzyChill. Send me any questions you've got about anything, about me, about tech, about anything, and I'll try and do a video on it. I've got so many stuff I've got to do, and I promised I was going to do, and I don't think it's actually going to happen now. Things like my Galaxy S3 video probably isn't going to happen now, because I just haven't got the time. I haven't got the inclination. And yeah, it's just, I've got so much other things to do. I've got an IP5, I've got some IP5 stuff to do, I've got some Untangled stuff to do, I've got some videos to redo, because my most popular videos are to do Word 2010, and it's a fucking shit video, yet it gets tons of views and tons of dislikes, because it's shit, and I didn't really plan on that. It's the same with like a few other ones. They're really, like my Optima review is crap, but it gets tons of views for some weird reason, even though nobody really sells that specific model anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna have to redo loads of stuff. But anyway, I shall catch you in a later video. I'm not too sure when my next video will be. So I was gonna. I didn't know what to do for my 100th video. I was like, well, I could do something like really outrageous and stupid and dickheadish, but I was like, I just can't be fucked to do that. So I just sort of did this, and I hope it's good enough. So I'm going to eat my biscuits, I'm going to drink my brew. I've actually got to go and see a client in a minute, so actually we'll be drinking this and eating this very, very quickly. And apart from that, I shall catch you in a later video.